Hello, Aries. Welcome to a brand new month of opportunities. And I'm so excited to be able to kick everything off with you today. This time I decided to actually begin on the first day of the month because I didn't want to let as much time go by as I normally do. And if it's your first time here, first of all, you're in for a great reading. And the way that I read is that a lot of what we see here is going to really be for like 6 to 8 weeks anyway. So why delay? I want to make sure that I can get you the information as quickly as possible. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh, if you are new, and we'll be looking at Aries for the month ahead for May, but really it's going to be, especially the channel messages here at the beginning, many of them will be relevant right here and right now. So it's anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks, all of these forecasts. In the future, I may actually just put date ranges on them, but anyway, welcome. Let's not get into all the technicalities there. Let me tell you a little bit about how I organize the reading. There are 4 major parts to it. I like to begin with all the channeled messages here in front of me. And those channeled messages came to me in dreams and meditations and also through automatic writing. So that's the psychic download at the beginning. I call those channeled messages. And then we go along to the Celtic Cross afterwards. And I allow that to add some additional insight, especially when it comes to timing any of the opportunities that may be coming through that didn't come through in the channel messages will show up there. And then I expand the forecast to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. And then we go into a deeper section called the soul path towards the end, where we learn a little bit more about some of the pressing questions or opportunities in front of us. I also add a meditation and a final word or final card at the very end. So you're going to have a chance to hopefully get all of your questions answered and maybe then some. All right. I'm going to put down this lovely little guy and we're going to get started. So first of all, welcome, everybody. Let me talk a little bit about how we interact here on this channel. I don't answer questions. I know a lot of people that do readings on YouTube will do, question and answer. I go into a channeled state when I begin the reading, so I have to stay focused. But if you want to show support, you can do that by using super stickers or super chat. And I do see that on the side, and it's a great sort of motivator, and it helps me buy all of the supplies that you see in front of me. So if you're watching it live, it's this icon. I won't answer questions, but again, it's a great way to show support. And if you're watching this on replay, there's also an applaud button here right by the thumb up and thumb down button. So if you want to do that, that's great. There's also some ways on my website that you can give back if you're interested. Thank you to Maria, who's helping with moderating today. And that's it. Let's get started. Let's start talking about what's coming through, okay? By the way, if you don't follow me on Instagram, you should take a look at that. Sometimes I do have live streams there where I will interact more. I call it a fireside chat. And quarterly or so, I will do that here on YouTube as well. So there are times where I take questions. Today's not one of those days, though. Okay, so let's go into the channeled messages. I like to begin with the spirit totem, which is just basically me connecting with nature and seeing how something living in this sort of world that we're in is going to relate to you. So the animal that came through today was a mountain lion, which goes by so many different names. It can be a cougar, a panther, a puma. I thought, oh my gosh, there's so many different names. It's a quite beautiful cat, actually. It's one of the, I guess it's the smallest of the big cats. It's not like the lions or tigers or things like that because it lacks a roar. I was doing a little bit of research, so it doesn't kind of vocalize as much, but it still has this sort of stealthiness that all of those big cats have. And it also has the amazing hunting skills as well. And we have mountain lions here in the mountains of California. And I think based on the map that I was looking at, it's mostly North and South America, the continents basically. So it's not necessarily in Europe, but I'm sure you guys have seen it. So mountain lion anyway, I'm sure that there might be other species that are across the world. So anyway, beautiful cat imagery came to me this morning. And as I was going deeper into what this would symbolize for you, definitely divine feminine energy came through. The strength card and also the strength of the animal was something that I was focusing on. And even in strength, sometimes that's what you see is a woman opening up the mouth of a big cat. So it definitely makes sense that the strength would come in. Leadership, And then this agility and ability to adapt to situations. So agility and adaptability. All of these things were coming through as things that you, Aries, want to focus on this month to be successful, to be able to thrive. And that's really what I'm here to help you with, is to empower you and to prepare you. So all of those things are going to be important to your success this month. For some of you, this means that you'll be put into a situation where it's out of your comfort zone. So the word adapt is coming through because you can do it, but it's also coming through because you may feel a moment of being triggered, like, this is not how I normally do it. This isn't what I expected. I'm not sure if I'm prepared for this. Can I do it? The answer to all of these things is you're going to be okay, but you have to ease into the sort of like the discomfort a little bit and the ambiguity and think, you know what, I have everything that it takes. In fact, the word that actually came to me, whether or not you're an athlete, was muscle memory. And when you trust yourself, that combination of intuition and muscle memory starts to come through. And for those of you that are trained athletes, muscle memory is basically just your body knowing how to work without your brain having to do it. So if you do something enough times, then basically the reflexes kind of kick in, and on a sort of sensory level, everything just works. So this still works for the rest of us, though, because I can't attribute who said it or where the research is, but it takes like 5 years or so to kind of become an expert at something. The longer you put energy and time into it, the more it becomes ingrained into your thoughts, into your energy. It becomes habitual. And then you just kind of know. You can almost do it with your eyes closed. It's sort of like, for those of you that drive cars, if you've taken one path for maybe 5 years, not 5 years, maybe just you do it every day of your life. All of a sudden, one day you just sort of think, how did I end up here? Like you're going to work, or you're going to the store, you're doing something. And suddenly you think, I don't remember getting here. It's because you kind of went into a meditated state, and your mind and body just knew, turn right at this light, do this, do this. So we do this every day, walking. I noticed that my dog is amazingly instinctive when it comes to knowing how and where to get places, even if he's only been there one time. So we all have that ability to kind of put it into our muscle memory, and I would even say like our instinctual or intuitive side. Reaction time is going to be really key. These cats are fast when I was doing some research on them. So one of the things that I was focusing on for you, Aries, is don't procrastinate. And listen, I love procrastinating as much as the rest of us. I'm a busy person, so I kind of just don't allow myself to. I set a schedule, I keep to it, and sometimes I just have to push myself. Let's pick up the phone, let's send this email, let's make it happen. And I think you're going to have to do some of that this month too. Definitely don't leave other people waiting, because you could also miss an opportunity or a window that you are going to wish you hadn't. So act upon an opportunity, an idea, make the most of each moment. This isn't the time to sort of like snooze, right? One of the defining attributes of Panthers, there's so many names, by the way. They can be called, like I said, Cougar, Panther, Puma, mountain lion. It's all the same animal or in the same sort of general species, but there's a lot of different names for it. Anyway, I'm just going to say Panther because it's easier. One of the defining attributes of Panthers is that they lack that sort of vocalization, the roar, but they don't basically lack anything when it comes to strength, agility, or timing. In fact, because of the lack of vocalization here, action speaks louder than words. And basically, walk the walk, lead by example. I do want to focus on the throat, though, even though I didn't write a card, because I'm flashing back to the strength card. And in the strength card, we have a woman opening up an animal, sometimes a lion or a panther or a tiger or some other beast, but she's opening up the mouth of the beast. And there is a sort of sense of domination. Sometimes it can be like a ventriloquist where the voice is being kind of pushed through that animal. So it's almost like you're trying to control someone's speech. Not always talked about when you see the strength card, but definitely there can be a manipulation of words. So don't let anybody do that to you, and you shouldn't try to do it to others. And also, how you act, how you carry yourself is going to be as important, if not more than, whatever you say. So the actions and words have to meet up. Don't let somebody put the mute button on you. And also, if somebody else is sort of giving just sort of a great talk, but they don't follow through, I feel like this is going to be the month where things kind of come to a light, come to the head. And so you want to be the one that's showing up every day and being consistent. That's going to help you in the long run. Okay. So there you go. With the fact that strength has come through a few times, I didn't write this card, but I'll get additional information as I channel here. Physical strength is going to be important. A lot of us have had a tough year or year and a half because of the pandemic, being stuck in homes or not being able to kind of walk as much as we used to. So this is a great time to start to ease back into a more active lifestyle. You have to listen to your body. Of course, you have to work with your doctor before you change your physical activity, but I think it's good for us to start to get a little bit more active. So do what's right for you. And I think that this month is supporting that. Take the initiative and go after what you want. I'm going to actually get into this more in a second, but this one we're going to talk about timing and your ability to sort of be the one that is the catalyst. I have a special card called the catalyst that I pull in a moment, but you are a catalyst or a catalytic sort of energy this month. You make things happen. More on that in just a second, but it's falling into the energy of the Panther, so I wanted to talk about it. Got it. Okay, the next one is saying, work and think on your toes. Intuition flows when you don't overanalyze. A lot of times, probably one of the most frequent questions that I'll get from clients, people that are watching the channel, and then just even friends and family is, how can I develop my intuition? One of the best ways is, of course, meditating on a regular basis, even if it's just a couple of minutes a day. Before I start the reading, all the candles that you see behind me, I light and I say a prayer. You can't see them lit there as much, but there's 6 candles that I light. Today I did a 7th. And I set an intention with each one of those. But 3 or 4 minutes beforehand, I am quiet, I pray a little bit, and I set a nice, clean, energetic slate. So that's one way. But with the flowing here that I'm talking about, when I show up here, part of the reason I'm not constantly looking at the comments is I have to just sort of, it's like third eye, my throat and my crown that's kind of doing a lot of the work here. And so I just need to not overthink. So for you, if you are led to do something this month, making a call, applying for a job, calling the doctor and getting something checked out, deciding to apply for a program or plan a trip, whatever it is you get this feeling, I need to do it, do it. That's an intuitive download. If you feel like you should talk to someone about something, do it. If something's coming up and you need to share it, share it. As the intuitive information starts to come through and you start to trust it more, the channel opens up wider. When you are uncertain, kind of like a 4 of Pentacles moment where you're holding back, then the channel constricts and you're not going to receive as much. So be in the flow, be in the moment, don't overthink, do something, move on to the next thing. Panthers are ambush hunters. So they don't need to chase as much. They kind of wait for their moment and then pounce. So timing is everything, but this sort of ambush energy is something that I had to talk about. So preparation is going to be super important this month. Prepare for any potential things that you think could pop up, a potential ambush from someone who you just know might cause some trouble. Be ready for that. Be ready for the surprises and neutralize them before they are a problem. I would say the flip side of this is also true, that it's important for you to not necessarily throw a surprise on someone if they're not ready for it, because you want to kind of set everyone up so that they're going to be successful or they feel supported, not ambushed. So give people a heads up if there's going to be something tricky that you need to talk about in a public forum, for instance. And I think that's going to suit you. But again, the main thing that I see with the lion is speed, adaptability, agility. The leadership and the taking initiative is really important. We're going to get into that as well here. I'm shifting now into work a little bit, and work can also be how you work with others. For those of you that are retired or unemployed, this can also go to relationships. The primal energy, though, from this mountain lion, cougar, panther, puma, whatever you want to call it, is still coming through. I said hunger, desire, and ambition are going to play big roles in relationships, and specifically those that involve working together. So whether it's you and your partner, like your partner in love, or your partner at work, there's going to be these sort of issues that pop up. And, hunger is survival, right? So it's not necessarily bad if there's something that you want and you want to go after it. Like, I think we have primal instincts for a reason. We want to make sure that we're not letting them get in the way of logic or reason or even just what our kind of goals and dreams are, but maybe they can lead us to that or help us get away from something as well. So just be aware of the lower sort of frequencies or some of these primal instincts that could be popping up. On the bright side and on an elevated note, and this came to me as a whisper when I woke up, and this is probably what I'll put as the title for your we'll see what everything else comes to be here, but I think this is your title. If you want something, all you have to do is ask. That was the message that I received. Don't expect another person, especially a partner, to intuit it. This is something that we do in relationships too much. It's sort of like, you should know what you did wrong, or at work, you're expecting someone to do something, but maybe you didn't state, I need this by this date, and I don't like it when you do this, or I like it when you do this. Like, it's good to state what's working and what's not working, or maybe we could talk about this because I feel like we're at an impasse. This is bothering me. I think that's good. Like, I joke sometimes, but if I was in a relationship and I have to start pulling out cards and runes and praying and connecting to kind of figure out what the other person's doing, that to me is a problem. That tells me that they're not showing up and I shouldn't have to do that. And I wouldn't. It would just sort of be like a conversation saying something is off. Let's talk about it. How are you? How are you feeling? What do you think about this? I would try to get them activated as well. I want to know where they're at. So on the bright side, though, this is really good for negotiations, and this is really good for something that I believe I talked about in Cancer. And I was going to talk about it in the general. I might do it maybe I have two. By the way, I have 2 readings this month that are going to be for the collective. I'll give the dates later, but this is something that I could cover there. I think in the Cancer reading last month, I had this discussion about a blank check. I'm not sure if it was them or someone else, so if I got the wrong one, don't worry about it. The messaging here is clear. With the blank check idea, if you're only limited by your thoughts, and I had spirit coming through telling me to ask for more. And for this one, it's just saying ask for something. Don't let sort of the universe sort of try to guess, or people around you try to guess. So speak up, show up, and really allow people to know what it is that you need. This sort of passion and desire that we were talking about is also really important. Showing gratitude, enthusiasm, and sincere interest is good. No game playing. I think that it's really nice to know. Think about how good it feels to hear someone say, I love you, I miss you, I had a great time, or you did a great job. I'm so glad we hired you, whatever it is. Isn't it nice to hear good things? Isn't it nice to feel wanted, desired, and appreciated? Don't you think other people want to also feel that same sense of being loved? So wear your heart on your sleeve when it comes to that, and no game playing. And if they are weirded out by it, then they're not ready for it. And that's okay. And then listen to them, because if someone says, I'm not interested, or this is too much, or you're coming off too strong, then back off. I think that we should always listen to one another where we're at. And you don't want to overwhelm someone, but I think it's nice to say thank you, or I really enjoyed this job, or it was great hanging out with you, let's do it again. Those sorts of things are not too much, too quick, or overwhelming. I think it's just good to show where you are. So the sort of animal energy that I'm getting here is trusting, being, and sort of allowing things to kind of work in a natural way. With my dog, I know if he's angry, I know if he's happy. It's easy. Kids, same sort of thing. Adults, though, we tend to kind of hide things under all these layers, and it gets difficult, and it makes things sometimes harder than it needs to be. Aries, I don't think you're going to have a hard time with this, because the ability to just be, I think, is already part of you. So just lean into that this month, and it's going to really be powerful for you, okay? But if you want something, ask for it. We're going to get into job negotiations here in a minute, but I feel like what I was seeing in my meditation was you could almost write your job description, or you could rewrite something, or you could pitch out an idea and someone would say, you know what, we'll look into it. Maybe this is possible. You could be surprised by what would happen when you ask for it. If you don't ask for it, guaranteed nothing will probably happen. But if you ask for it, you start to open up channels of opportunity. Okay, showing up early, being prepared, and pitching an idea. All of these things when it comes to making changes happen in your life, really important. It doesn't have to just be at a job. This could be you talking to your partner about a change that you want to make in your life, or you could be deciding, I want to try something different. And as you start to put it down on a mood board or in your journal, or as you start to apply for things, again, you're opening up that creative energy, which is super exciting. Take a card like this. It doesn't have to be one of these 3x5 index cards, but if you have one, great. And I'd like you to write down what it is that you are trying to do on this planet. Not what you do for a living, not what your mom or dad wanted you to do when you were a kid, not what your spouse expects you to do or your boss expects you to do. I want you to go on a soul level and think about, what am I doing? If you don't know, don't freak out. That's what you're going to meditate on this month. And you're going to figure out, what do I like and what don't I like? And the what do I likes are going to help you. But sometimes you have to start with what you don't want, because it just narrows the field down a little bit. An example for me is, I'm here to raise collective consciousness. I could fit that easily on a card. Raise collective consciousness. Then I would have maybe a few extra cards about some of the other bullets that I do, which is to normalize spirituality. Because in the past, even when I was pitching the book and I was trying to find like an agent, they would say, this is a little woo-woo. And I thought, what does that even mean? First of all, it's spiritual and it's metaphysical. And so if that's woo-woo, if that's scary, then that's fine. But like, so normalizing spirituality, having intelligent conversations about it, and helping empower people. Those are also like bullets underneath raising consciousness. So once you know those things, everything starts to come together. So maybe for some of you, it's going to just be like create a family, or to maybe there's something that you want to make the world better, and you're going to do it through an invention, through nursing, or being a doctor, or whatever, a veterinarian. Or maybe it's something that I haven't even talked about, but whatever it is, put it on an index card and look at it every day. Put it on your fridge, put it next to your computer, put it by your bedstand, and think about that and think, how am I tracking to that little index card? Because that's my soul. And if I'm not doing what my soul is telling me to do, I need to shift it. So that's super powerful. And I think you need to know why you're on the planet, what you're trying to do. You can do it. You don't need me. You don't need anyone else. It's just basically going into the deepest part of yourself and thinking, what makes me happy, and what kind of impact do I want to make on this planet when I leave? The reason is because this month, there's some synchronicities. There's some powerful energies opening up. If you know what you want, you can say it. You can bring it. If you don't know, the universe is waiting, and it's sort of hoping that you can figure it out. And I'm going to be here to help you today, so don't worry. As we look at the Celtic Cross in a moment, we'll get to some of that. I don't focus on love, so other stuff will come through. Love can be part of it, but you're going to get some deep soul stuff that will help you too throughout this reading. And that's one of the things that I enjoy doing, and I think helps make this channel a little bit different. Okay. This was really, really interesting. For some of you that might be put into a competitive situation, whether it's a sibling sort of thing, like in your family pits you against each other. It could be a work situation. Maybe there's two of you and you're going after the same thing. I saw that there didn't have to be a winner or a loser. Maybe both could find a way to thrive in the situation. Again, it boils down to what I just talked about. Who are you? What do you want to do? And how do you envision things? And because this month you're going to take initiative, you should speak up and offer a different way of thinking about it. At least throw it out there and see what happens. It starts to make you an influencer, a changing sort of voice, and a changing, force to be reckoned with. That's what I would say. So this is exciting for you if you're ready to go into that. Also, maybe some of you just don't want to compete against someone that you like. That's fine. I just saw that competition shouldn't be the focus. There could be something where everyone wins, or maybe you just don't want to compete, but you shouldn't have to lose, and it shouldn't be win or lose. So however that relates to you, that's the message my guides were giving me for you. People are interested in you. This is a magnetic month. I wouldn't be surprised if we get some sort of a love card, whether it's 2 of Cups, 6 of Cups, Lovers, 4 of Wands, any of the cups, basically the higher suit ones, because it feels like there's something about you that's pulling people in. Even if I don't pull it in the cards, I'm getting it in my psychic download. So think about what you're doing to attract positive energy into your life. Thoughts are so important. I say this a lot, but it bears repetition. How you think about yourself and what you think is possible directly affects what you actually will encounter. So start to think this month, I am capable of this, this, and this, and I'm ready for it. Okay. Last one was really interesting, and I was receiving these messages this morning. The way that I was looking at this was, it was almost as if you were in a movie and you'd seen the movie. And nowadays we're so used to being able to like take our remote and fast forward or go to chapters like you can here on YouTube. And the person that was trying to play this movie was like, no, you have to go exactly through this again. So if you've been through something, it's like you've been through the script. You don't have to do it again. This, you can listen to my collective. I just did it a few days ago. It could be about karmic relationships, which sometimes are about changing the script, breaking that script, rewriting the script, whatever you want to look at it. I feel like this month, if someone's forcing you to do something and you've done it, it's sort of like there's a better way. So don't force something, and don't let someone force you kind of into something that you don't want to do. For those of you that design things, this is super important because it was about sort of like usability and how people would react to it. So architects, interior designers, user experience designers, obviously, people that write manuals, software, anything where, a lot of what we do in commerce out there is for other people. You really need to be thinking about what the person wants, not what you want them to want. And in relationships, same sort of thing. It's sort of like not what you want your partner to want, it's what they want and what you want, and trying to find the middle ground and not repeating or retreading old things. And that's what the last message is. Don't live in the past, try to recreate what was, focus on today. This is really good at forgiving yourself for making a mistake as well. So if you missed an opportunity, if you messed something up, if you said something you shouldn't have, that was that moment. And now all that matters is what you do with the experience, the accountability that you take, the decisions you make to not repeat, and maybe how you could even repair some of the damage. That's all that matters. But living in the past and beating yourself up for the one thing, all it's going to do at the end of the day is make you feel crazy. And this is too important of a time. I know a lot of you are having some birthdays, because this until like April 18th or so. So there's a lot of birthdays that are kind of happening now during the live and mid-month, and you want to have a good month. This is a powerful time for you, and I think that's why thoughts are so important. I also like that we're doing this on the 1st, because one thing that I didn't talk about, but I want to talk about as I'm stacking up these index cards, is that truth is so important. And April Fools is all about like pulling back this sort of, it's like the moon card, right? A lot of times people tell a little white lie and they think it's funny. I don't think April Fools is funny. I think that it's a chance to remind us how important transparency is. And a lot of times when you tell those white lies, you lose trust. We saw that with, I think Volkswagen did something in the press recently where they were doing a name change. It actually kind of backfired because they did it before the 1st, and because when you say something that isn't true and then you're like, haha, just kidding, it doesn't work. It's kind of like when you were a kid and you made a joke, but it was at someone's expense. It's not a joke then. It's actually just show up in the best possible light and be truthful, basically. Because I think there's so much more to be in being honest. And I think this is, if we were to look at one of these cards one more time, it's really about that showing gratitude, enthusiasm, and sincere interest. These are good things. Don't hide and don't mask and don't play games. And I think you're going to have an amazing month. So let's take a look now at the cards and see what additional messages come through. I'm going to put the dates here real quick for my next collectives that are coming up. So I think I have a collective on the April 25th, and I also have one on the 15th. So I'll put these links out just so you have them when you see this. And if you haven't been to one of my collectives before, you should show up, and you can see the most recent one on my website. Okay, let's go ahead now, and I'm going to remain quiet at this point while I pull all of the cards. But stick around, and I'll make sure that we go through all of this at the midpoint. You can use this for your sun sign, your rising, and your moon, as well as any other aspect of your chart, like Venus, for instance. And also the way that I work is that I'm a channeler, I'm an intuitive, I'm clairvoyant. So if you're showing up today, you'll still get messages, even if you're not sure if you're Aries or if it falls in your chart. If you ever need a message, just show up to one of my readings. This is definitely the Panther energy here, the Empress. And you'll get messages that you need. Two judgment cards, really interesting. All right, just move these cards here to the center and let's talk about what we see here. Okay, so the first card that we'll be looking at is the catalyst. And for me, the catalyst functions as a way for you to stay in the highest energy of the month, a way for you to avoid any sort of pitfalls, and basically, yeah, just stay out of trouble and stay on the right path. It's so interesting. We have a judgment card that was kind of on its side, whether it's upside down or sideways, it doesn't matter. And then we have an upright judgment card here at the end here in the outcome. So it feels like some of you are juggling or kind of wrestling with a decision. And maybe I'm looking at this, it almost looked to me like the person was praying, but they might also be kind of like giving the judgment here because we see sort of like giving and receiving. I would say for you, the hardest point of decision-making sometimes is just trusting yourself. So when I see there are two cards in tarot, there's justice and judgment. They can be a little confusing. Justice, for me as a reader, typically indicates making of a decision or justice being served, but it's in the process. When I see judgment, it's delivered or it's done or it's here. And it took me a while to understand it too, but that's how I've connected the two. So, and I've noticed in readings with clients that when I see judgment reversed, it typically indicates that there's an uneasiness. Even if they know what they need to do, there's like hesitation, self-doubt, or some form of uncertainty that's holding them back. So we had judgment that wasn't quite upright, wasn't quite reversed. It was just sort of like teetering a little bit. So it feels like some of you have a decision that you're on the fence with, but you're going to get there. And it feels like this is a freeing or liberating decision for you, right? If you look at this, we can see the dove coming up over this kind of, it's interesting. It's a flock of birds, but the energy is heavy. It's a little darker and it's going up towards the light. So for some of you, you have to kind of like come out of a difficult situation, and leaving it can be difficult because it's a sacrifice, because it's a trade-off, because to gain something, it feels like in this particular situation, you have to let go of something. So trust the decision that you've made and start to do what's necessary to execute on it. For those of you that have no big decision, be careful about what you think, because judgment is also you judging others and also how you perceive things. It's perception and judgment, because perception colors judgment. So when you judge yourself, I am worthy, I am not worthy, you then bring things in. So a lot of times I've heard people say things like, I'm unlucky in this, or I'm unlucky in that, or I never get this. Because you keep saying that, you're reinforcing an energetic cycle. You're not actually bad at it per se, but you've chosen to sit in that energy of not moving. So this is really just saying, nudge it along, move it along, get out of that, and think about the possibilities. What if? A really powerful way to move out of being stuck in an energy like that is, well, if you think, for instance, maybe it's about finding a job, because this is something I think a lot of us can relate to, or having enough money. So if you think, I never get ahead at work, I can't find the job that I want, I don't have enough money in my bank account. All of those things are things I think anybody could think at some point in their life. Change it to, what if I find the job that I've been looking for sooner than I think? What if I'm going to turn it around in my finances this year? I have a goal, maybe it's a house, maybe it's college, whatever, starting a family. But what if this is the year that I pull it together? What if? And then get out of the what ifs after you start to feel positive about maybe it's possible. Then think, why not? Let's make it happen. Let's do it. So then start to kind of put in it like, I am going to do this. I'm going to change my finances. I'm going to change my health. I'm doing it. I am. So, but you have to, I think a nice sidestep into the I am is the what if or why not. Because when you open up the door, then it's better than closing it and saying, I can't, or I don't, or I won't. So that's the judge or judgment for some of you. And the other piece is some of you already know what to do, so do it. Let's move into the cards and we'll get some more insight. You also might have one last thing. It just came through because I saw the Two of Wands. Some of you might have 2 opportunities in front of you. Maybe you're dating and there's a couple of people that you're interested in. Maybe you are getting 2 job offers or 2 offers on your house, or you're thinking of making some sort of a move and you can't decide if it's this state or country or this one or whatever. So I see for some of you, there's this kind of fork in the road, and that can also be exciting. And that's when you're going to feel it out, because it feels like to me, one of them just feels a little bit better and you want to go with that. This is the beginning to manifestation. 2 of Wands is necessary for that. That's why I was kind of pushing you guys to get your index card and figure out, who am I? What kind of impact do I want to make? What are my dreams? Whatever you want to put on that. If you know it, then the universe starts to help. Synchronicities start to pop up. And you start to see things you didn't before, because now you are looking for a way to make it happen. So what you should be focusing on whenever you watch this video, because this is at the heart of things, is planning. Putting something, like I said, putting the pin on the map, putting the picture on your bulletin board, whatever, something so you can see it. That's it. That's what I'm doing. That's what I want to do. And then everything you're doing is going to help you align to that. Okay? Nothing really bad with the Two of Wands. I love it. And I also love that we see the whole spectrum of light and opportunity behind this one. And for those of you that have had a really tough year, because many of you have, you've lost jobs, you've gone between industries, maybe a relationship hasn't been what you wanted it to be, and that's kind of fallen away. This is the rainbow after the rain. There's something to look forward to. Look forward to something else. Think that there might be something else, because the rainbow energy is what I see after a rainstorm or after a difficult period. Think of what's next. What else do you want to do? So this is beautiful. We have a 6 of Cups card here that is crossing the center, which is giving you insight into how to be more effective at manifestation. 6 of Cups is a playful card. It's not so playful here, but usually you would see the children on this card. What I like about this one, though, is there's a very balanced energy. So oftentimes we just focus on what's on the surface, but what's beneath the surface is just as beautiful. And honestly, if I were to kind of like pull it either way, it's hard to see which side is the roots if you just looked at it this way. So for some of you, if you need to try again, what this card is saying is that you can find your success this time. Maybe you weren't getting nurtured where you were before. So if there is a move, if there is a new relationship, if there is a new opportunity, I think it could feed you in a good way. This could be something that is sustaining. And that's the question with this 6 of Cups, which has a very different energy than the traditional one. Am I sustained? Are you sustained in what you're doing? Do you feel like this is something that brings you joy, that you have fun with? And it can be work, it can be love, it can be something that you're trying to do for others. But how does it sustain you? How does it support you as well as others? Because it feels like many of you have this beautiful maternal energy, which I got with the Divine Feminine Panther, Cougar that I saw earlier. So the Empress energy is showing that you already do a great job doing that for others. Do it for yourself and make sure that you're getting something back. Because a tree can't keep giving if it doesn't get the nutrients in and the water and the support that it needs as well. So that's what I see with this. The traditional aspect of this could show, because we have the Empress card here as well in the world. If you're trying to have kids, I see the 6 of Cups as twins. It could also just mean good news or celebration. So there could be a birth, and this can also be more symbolic that you're birthing or creating something this month. So the Divine Feminine energy definitely is touching May, and even for those of you watching here in April, you've got that ability to start to plant some sort of spiritual seed and see it grow over the next 6 to 8 weeks. Here's the past. Here's the difficult thing for many of you. I feel like this can summarize last year, kind of broadly speaking, but for some of you, there's something going on where a relationship could have fallen apart. There could have been some bad news. There's so much other things here in this spread that are really good, but for some of you, this could be coming back this month, because we look at the environment, we have the Tower. And what I saw with this tree is You can do this. You can push through this. So if someone in your life maybe has come back and it's opening an old wound, or if there's a sort of codependent relationship, what I like about this Three of Swords is you could take the yarn here and just like take one of these swords and just kind of cut some of the strings of codependency, or cut some of the energy from the past. And like I said before, you can't live in that sort of energy because there's so much transformative positive energy that's coming through here. It is a transformative month for you. Things are going to change here because you have the World and the Tower. But the World card and the Judgment card temper the Tower reverse in a very, very positive way. Tower reverse means you're controlling it or aware of it, and you get to make some decisions. World and Judgment basically mean that you can make this something good, or you can get overwhelmed with it, right? So don't get overwhelmed with it. I said I was sensing something like the Lovers coming in for you, and it came through. I view the Lovers not necessarily as, oh my God, you're going to fall in love. It tells me that, like I said, it's very magnetic. So people are interested in being around you. They're interested in being in your energy this month. They love you. So you can do what you want with this. It's in the recent past, but that's right now because I'm doing this in advance. So everyone in the live reading, what you're going to be focusing on is releasing the feelings that I can't, I won't, this isn't happening, things aren't working, and thinking about like, oh my gosh, what can I pull into my life instead? What can I do next? Because it's time to spread your wings like we see in this beautiful card here. And yes, love is possible, especially because we have the Six of Cups. And this is a really deep love if you've pulled someone in that has this sort of energy. So let me break this down. We'll look at it more in a moment when I look at relationships. But I like to look at three parts. Someone in the comments said that I don't. I always look at if you're looking for love, if you're in love, or if you're single and happy. So if you're looking for love, yes, but you have high expectations, which you should. This is not settling for like a one-night stand. This is something that can last, right? And it's what usually would be called a soulmate. I would kind of call a divine partner because we have lots of soulmates. So yeah, I like it. I think this is a great time, but you've got some stuff you've got to sort out in your life, namely a move or a big decision that's going to shift everything. So the decision first, then the love, but the love energy is already in your auric field, okay? And we have like rainbow colors that are in a lot of these cards, so I can see that sort of beautiful transformative love energy. If you are in a relationship, this is a month where it could be make it or break it, because these two cards are saying change has to happen, especially Tower reversed. And you get to decide one way or another, are you gonna stay or are you gonna go? And I think for some of you, that's what that is. If you are single and happy, then big career changes, big life changes, possibly a change of living situation, other shifts that are happening in your life. But the cool thing is you're not alone in this. It feels like you could lean on some help and ask for some help if you'd like it. So you don't have to put the energy into relationships if you don't want to. In fact, this is a good month to focus on self-development. We'll talk more about love in a second when I get into expanded forecasts. Let's continue to evaluate how these will factor in just for you, generally speaking. We have the Empress card in the crowning position. Hello, this is basically the Cougar, the Panther, the Puma, the mountain lion, all those sort of beautiful cats that are the same thing. So this is taking control. And this is a sort of quiet strength, a quiet storm. And reminds me of that old Sade song, Taboo. But yeah, sort of like that, something that comes and it's unexpected and then it's there. So there is this, I feel like for some of you, there could be an awakening because I saw this sort of pouncing energy. But for some of us, that can also be just sort of like being awakened to what's possible. And with this Empress energy, it could be awakening to your power. So maybe you are sick of being told what to do and you want to get a better position, a better job. Maybe in a relationship, you want more equity. You want to be on the same sort of page as your partner, the same ground as your partner. So it's about balancing the scales. It could be about how much you're giving and receiving in a relationship. Whatever it is, you're the queen or the king, but the divine feminine energy is there saying, this is time for you to create, to own, and to, you don't necessarily have to speak up with the Empress, but you should show up and hold court, if you will. So I really like that it's in the crowning position. I really like that it's upright. And this should be a time where people, with these two cards, I feel like people are seeking you out too. So be open to that, be receptive to that. Some good stuff is happening for you. if you're willing to receive it. The only thing that could hold it back is if you think, I'm not good enough, I'm not this enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not worthy enough. You are worthy enough. You are ready. You've done all the things to kind of set up this opportunity. The world reversed. For some of you, this can be such a big change that it just feels like the rug has been pulled from underneath you. Don't lose perspective, I guess I would say, of what's in front of you. Take a moment to breathe, to meditate, and to figure out how it feels for you. Ultimately, I really like this card, and we see kind of like these beautiful spring-like flowers at the center. We see the stars here. It's a growth cycle for you. And it looks to me, even though I don't really see it, it's almost like a snake here as well. So I see power, I see change, I see growth. It feels good, even if it's a little discombobulating. Literally, we have like the top of this tree being kind of taken off, but this could be a necessary shift. And I feel like you're being pushed this month to move up, to move on, to make a decision, to change, to commit. So however you want to work with that, you're going to be supported. The sooner you make the decision, the less this card feels kind of like overwhelming. And likewise with this. But there is a change happening. There's no way that you can have the world, the tower, and the judgment card and not have a big change happening in your life. I'm excited though, because that that sort of like movement between the three of them is actually good. All right, Hanged Man. There's a little bit of, for some of you, you're dragging your feet. For some of you, you have to wait a couple of days. You might be waiting for a decision. Don't put too much into the judgment if that's the case. So if you're waiting for someone else, the way to get that decision to happen better, faster, and more to your liking is to say, I already succeeded. No matter what they did, I gave it my all. And the fact that they're considering me means that I did something right. So whether it's yes or no, I don't care anymore. I'd like it to be a yes, but it doesn't have to be. And if it isn't, I'll find something better. Now I'm going to let my guides, my higher self and their higher self weigh this out because I'm ready. Are they ready? And then just let it go. Don't put so much in, oh my gosh, what can I do? I don't do readings about will they call me back or do they love me or any of that. It doesn't matter. You've done everything you needed. Let it go now. The decision will happen soon, very soon with World, Tower, and Judgment. And it should be good. Whatever it is, it's for the best. And you don't have to change it. You shouldn't have to change it because you're already in the right direction, okay? Take care of yourself. Some of you may just need a day or two off. The Hangman isn't the worst card. It just is about sometimes hanging out, hanging a little bit and just like letting things go. So take a deep breath, spend some time like breathing, doing yoga, watching some television, decompress. Don't, because you have these sort of type A energy of the Empress in the crowning position, sometimes if you keep forcing and trying to do too much, this card gets counterproductive. So just taking a rest is not the worst thing. Sleep is what I get with this Hanged Man because we see the bat is very nocturnal. His eyes are open. So some of you, I'm wondering how you're sleeping. So this is funny. The message I'm getting with this is, have you cleaned your house recently? Are you moving? Is something cluttered around you? Clean up. That's what this is. That's what I'm getting. So this is disarray. The Tower can be disarray. The Tower reversed can be deciding to redecorate, to do maintenance, preventative maintenance, especially. So if you're seeing some chips or a crack in the ceiling or something, like take care of that now before a storm hits and then it starts to leak or whatever. Preventative maintenance, cleaning up, and making sure that there's openness and clarity around you, because that helps with the mental clarity. So basically, I know some of you might like a mess sometimes and you think it's better, but not in the living situation. You can have a messy desk if you want to, or a messy desktop on your computer, but I want to see like openness in your living situation as well. And then the rest of this is just changes going on around you. If you're working in a company, this can mean a change of leadership. It can mean you're quitting. It can mean your boss is quitting. It could mean layoffs, but there's changes happening. It could also mean a really big shift that could require you to relocate or move, since we got the World card as well. So cleaning up, clearing out, moving, all of those things are coming in. And April's an exciting April and May are exciting months for this. If you're watching it live, then you have the energy of like reincarnation and because of Easter and all of that. So this is a good month for starting new things. And then May for the month that I'm intending this to be read. You're already into spring. The energy is already there, or you're already into autumn if you're in the Southern Hemisphere. So you really want to make the changes now, because I feel like the further you get into this, the harder it is to make something happen. So anyway, ease into the decision, as I talked about earlier. As we're looking at what could affect what's going on right now in hopes, fears, and opportunity, we have Queen of Swords reversed. I love the Queen of Swords. I even like Queen of Swords reversed. She's just speaking her mind and getting to the point. In a legal situation, this is actually quite powerful. This could just as well be a pen. And it's saying, you know what, we need to edit this. Or I don't like this, or we need to talk about this. I think it's really powerful. We're going to embrace the Queen of Swords reversed this month. There is a time and there's a place where you absolutely need to speak up and say what you need to say. And I would say for you, you could take a quick temperature check and just make sure that the person's ready to hear it. But I feel like it's important to speak up, particularly because of the Tower and the World and the Judgment card. So speak your mind. Get to the point, be concise, don't be cruel. I think all of those things will help you out, okay? Now, the Empress and the Mother of Swords or Queen of Swords card in reverse could show a really strong divine feminine energy around you. So we didn't get strength, but you put these two together and it's pretty close to strength. So again, this is also about communication and someone maybe trying to put words in your mouth or you trying to do that. So the voice matters. Focus on opening up the throat chakra if you can as well. All right, and then we have this beautiful clearing energy of Judgment. Whatever happens, it's for the best reason. Even if it's a disappointment, it's a blessing, and many of you may need to hear that. So if I look back, there have been times where I didn't get a job that I wanted. I didn't get accepted into a school that I wanted. You know, you go on a date and the person's not interested in you. You try to, get someone to represent you and they're not interested in you. All of those things have always been a blessing because I wouldn't have wanted to be with the energy of the person that was rejecting me, or I needed to do some work on myself to be ready for that situation. Whatever it was, I always felt like it was a blessing. So what if you just feel like you're being guided on the right path, and part of that guidance may mean a small disappointment before a moment of joy or achievement. Don't give too much energy into the setback. Focus on rising above, rising again. This could just as much be, in many decks, it actually is a phoenix. So we have like the dove in this particular deck, but in the sun and moon deck, it's a phoenix. There's a few that it is. I can think about 2 or 3 different decks where it's usually phoenix. But in the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith, you would see people rising from the dead and you would see Gabriel blowing his horn. So this is about moving on and moving past something that was, and yeah, basically rising again, okay? Let's move along into your expanded forecast. We're going to go deeper into health, wealth, love, and destiny. We're going to start with health. Isn't necessarily always about the body, by the way. It's mind, body, and spirit. This card is usually more energetic than anything, but I'll look at the body in a second. It says you're seeing the situation accurately. We have Horus, death and rebirth. We have the Eye of Horus or Eye of Ra here, actually. So this is a chance to, for some of you, you need to start again. So with the health situation, this can be a major setback. And then this decision, I'm going to do better and I'm going to surprise people or beat the odds or rise above. So bouncing back, I guess you could say. And also if you feel like there's something that you need to do it. That's what this card is saying. You're seeing the situation accurate. Your intuition is coming through loud and clear. So that's good. All right. So let's look a little bit deeper at some of the cards for other health messages. How you feel is so important. This can be a symbol of pain, like depression, sadness, disappointment. And some of you just need to talk to someone. Please do that if you need to. This also shows that the stress that we feel affects our body, and sadness, anger, frustration, stress, all of that can kind of constrict this area here. So you don't want to be putting extra pressure on your heart or your lungs or any of that. So open up the heart chakra, focus on being healthy and heart healthy. Look at your blood pressure, blood sugar, and circulation overall, and work with your doctor to make sure all of those things are where they need to be. The Empress card is telling you to move a little bit more. So we've got so many cards that are grounded and sort of like, even this one, stagnating a little bit. So this is a really good time to get things moving in the body and in your energy. And then just make a decision. I'm going to do this, or I commit to this, or I'm going to do better. That's all. And don't be critical of yourself, for sure. Okay, so mostly good. I want to say one thing for you. This is an avoidable situation. A Tower card or a Fool card in the environment can sometimes show, this is part of the reason I want you to get clutter cleared up. Like my dog, he threw some toys behind me in the background. He does that when I'm on the live sometimes because he just needs to play. But then afterwards, I need to look around and pick them up so I don't trip. So this can be something like just the clutter causing a hazard where you could trip. It could also be distraction. So, you know, when you're driving, hands-free only. If you're going to talk on the phone, don't look at your phone at all, ever. And when you're walking as well, be engaged with what's around you, not like on a device. And I think that'll help you out. There's an avoidable trip or fall that could happen. Balance as well, or anything. If you're, of course, having any feelings of vertigo or dizziness, turn off this reading, go to the doctor. But yeah, something like that, take a look at that, okay? Very important. Balance and the sense of balance as well, and not getting distracted. Okay, those are your health messages. Wealth has a kind of health message involved with it. The card is reversed, so some of you have already overcome this tendency of being a workaholic. But if not, it's coming back a little bit this month to say, let it go. And also, perfection is overrated. One of the things that I had to learn when I started doing the live readings, I used to spend like a day and a half for each sign. But one of the things that I realized was I was editing out some good stuff too. So I thought, just show up and be yourself. And it's more real. And it's like we're having a chat and a conversation, and it's fun. That's why I think that's why I like it. That's why I watch other creators as well. So sometimes the messiness is also exactly as it should be. And you might miss something if you make it too perfect. So do your best always, show up, like I said, and people are going to be interested, and they're not going to be as critical as you are of yourself. So that's a work message. And it has to do with all aspects of your life, because the perfectionist is really what I would call this. This can affect how we look at our body, how we look at our clothes, how we feel others might be judging us. It's not true necessarily. It's all up here. So let it go. Be a little bit more real, a little less perfect. That imperfection is also charming, maybe, right? It makes you more relatable. So there's a message there. If you're working too hard, it's not sustainable, by the way. So let's say you really are a workaholic. We have the Tower reversed. This I don't like to see in pandemic times, because what I see that is your body can't defend itself, or you lose your footing. So I don't want you to do that, because you don't want to even get a small cold during this pandemic, even if you are vaccinated, or even if you have had it or something. You want to stay strong. So don't overwork, and don't rush back to the office if you don't feel comfortable yet. Listen to yourself. Do what you need to do. Yeah, that's the main message there. Let's look at some other things here with work. Like I said, there may be a transfer for sure with the World, the Tower, and the Judgment card. It's a big decision. You could be deciding to go back to school, getting a GED, or going to college. You could be deciding to start a new program. You could be deciding to sell a house. Maybe you're retired and you want to get some money out of that, or something like that. All of these things are happening with wealth. I would say make sure that you are cool with the decision. Don't rush into it, and don't overthink it. If you can't make your mind up, it's maybe not the right time for it. Like if you really just feel like you're at an impasse, then this isn't the right decision, and this isn't the right time. Okay, there you go. The last thing here is, if somebody is speaking ill of you, I think it's important to stand your ground. I don't think you have to fight fire with fire. I think you could take some action, especially if it's stuff that's not true or whatever. You could just say, I heard this, stop this. And you could also complain if you needed to. Stand your ground, but don't necessarily stoop to their level. And I think that's really, really key. Okay, last thing actually with this, it's good for those of you in a leadership position to just give people a clear idea of what's happening, especially if you're in a position of power and there are decisions that need to be made, like layoffs or things like that, the sooner you let people know and the more honest you are, the better. Okay. And even if you need to break up, we're going to get to love here in a second, but even something like that, it's better to say it sooner. Let's go to love. Nice segue. Okay. Open up. Honesty. It's the antithesis of April Fools. This is about April truth, and we're reading for May, but basically this reading is going to be tempered a little bit because I'm broadcasting it on the 1st. So open up, be honest, and we see you're kind of connecting with your crown chakra. Feels like you're already receiving the way to do it, the timing to do it, etc. So whether this is saying thank you, I love you, this isn't working, we need to talk, whatever it is, it feels like you need to chat with some people that you care about this month and reconnect even with some people. The 6 of Cups can be a reunion. So I recently reached out to a family member that I hadn't heard from for like a decade or something, and it was easy. I just had to do it. Sometimes somebody has to pick up the slack, right? So I thought, well, I'm going to pick up the slack because this is silly. Why aren't we talking? So, and it was fun and it was easy. It was like a 15-minute conversation, easy peasy, done. So open up. You'll be happy that you did, and you'll feel a weight lifted from you. Okay. Sometimes the other person's just waiting for you. That's what I figured out. Let's look at some other stuff with love here. I feel like really positive about love for you, whether it's leaving or loving. So it feels like you could be at either end of the spectrum. If you're looking for love, we see some really great stuff here at the center, like the Lovers, the 2 of Wands, the World, and then the 6 of Cups. All of this is love, but there's a little bit of healing that you have to do. So if you're looking for love, what's this about? You need to heal it up a little bit. And some of you might just be afraid to act on your feelings because of this. So there's inaction because of a feeling of being like falling flat on your face or something like that. And you don't want to do that. If you are in a relationship, I do feel like it's kind of a chance to deepen or depart because this is about, if we do this on a diagonal here, 3 of Swords, the World, and Judgment, it could just be a decision to move past this. But we got a little block here with the Tower. So for some of you, there might be something that you're not willing to overlook, or it's come back again and it's just one time too many. So for some of you, it's make it or break it. For some of you, it's just cool and you don't want to get in your own way. And if you're not looking for love and you're just focusing on personal development, there's still some healing that needs to be done. And there's power in numbers. Like I said, you don't have to compete. I feel like you can do more together than you can apart. So open up, and maybe you could talk to the person that you're competing with and say, well, like, maybe we can do this together. Maybe this can be a 50-50 split. Maybe there's a way that you can work it out where there's not a winner or a loser. Okay. So mostly good messages actually with relationships. And the last one makes a lot of sense based on what we saw with our with the channeled messages at the beginning, which was to take action. And it's very, even though I picked a divine masculine deck here, which is good because we had the sort of cougar energy here with the Empress, and now we have Thor here taking action and basically also hands-on. When I think of the hammer, for some of you, this is almost like taking a hammer and a nail and doing something, right? Making a difference, but it's you doing that. So how would you make a difference? So I have like 2 songs that popped into my head. One of them was like the old folk song, If I Had a Hammer. So like, how would you change the world? What would you decide to do? There could be like an activist part of you. I also like the Indigo Girls, and there's also Hammer and a Nail that they talked about, which is you never like change the world just kind of sitting here and thinking and with, like this nice little pose. You have to sort of do something. So both of these songs and then this card as well is sort of saying, just get the action started, just start moving, just keep moving. That's a message I've been seeing for the past couple of months, and it came through for you as well, Aries. All right, let's do a review, and then we're gonna go deeper. I wanna look at the tough stuff, and the cool stuff here. So I wanna see the 3 of Swords when we look at the soul path in just a moment. I wanna look at the Tower, and I wanna see what that's about, and we'll go to Judgment. I feel like those are the ones that are really big. So I'll look at the toughest ones because why not? I like a challenge. And then we'll do a meditation, then we'll do a final card. So something new that I've been trying is the final card. I might come up with a better word for it later, but it's basically your chance to ask a psychic question and I'll pull a card. I don't do pick a cards, but it's kind of like an almost personal one-on-one reading, and I'll just pull a card and give you a yes/no answer and then an interpretation. So stick around until the end and we'll get into that as well. All right, so if you just joined, perfect timing. I'm gonna go over some of the messages that I talked about at the beginning. If you've been here all along, stick around. We got a lot more to cover, and I also get some additional insights when I do the review. All right, Spirit Totem today was mountain lion, but it's most commonly known as a cougar, a panther, or a puma. And what I was thinking about with this was divine feminine, and we got that here in the form of the Empress card. And strength, leadership, agility, adaptability, only positives really with the Panther. I feel like there's some really great energy that came through. You're going to be asked to adapt to some things that might be out of your comfort zone, and we see the changes going on here with the Tower card and a big shift, but I feel like it's good movement if you decide you want to do it. The decision ultimately sits in your court. So do you want to or do you not want to? There are new ways of working together, and I talked about, I feel like there's a chance where you don't have to compete. We'll talk more in a second here, but if there's a way to sort of bridge the gap, great things could happen. Don't over edit. Trust yourself. Flow into that intuition, because when you stop overthinking it, then the channel opens up more and you start to receive more, basically more signs, more signals. Your muscle memory is going to kick in if you have to do something new, and you're just going to know what to do. Even if you haven't before, you're just going to be able to kind of put all the pieces together. Don't keep people waiting this month. Reaction time is important. They're waiting for you. They're waiting for you to take action, to make a decision, to lead, to speak up, because we got the Queen of Swords here reversed. The Panthers don't roar, so they're not known for vocalization. That's not a defining feature. But one thing that is that they're really great hunters and they're very fast. The speed is actually that sort of pouncing, but we'll talk about that in a second. Action speaks louder than words. It's better that you show up and do everything and are consistently there than say that you're going to and then fall short. You didn't get a single 7 of Swords or 5 of Swords card, and I saw a ton of those in the general reading that I did. So it feels like you are already accountable and ready for the next thing. So just stick with that. That's a good thing. Take initiative, go after what you want, show interest, don't hold back. There's no game playing right now. Work and think on your toes. Again, intuition flows when you're not overthinking. Timing is everything. That ambush piece, though, is important. Make sure that you're ready for surprises. And if something happens, you don't lose your cool. You just sort of stay neutral and do your best to adapt. Primal energy is part of your reading today. So desire. Are you happy? What do you want? That is so important. You have to focus on desire. Ambition is okay. It's good to want things. It's good to work towards things. Try to channel it into something really positive and something very supportive, and then love what you're doing, basically, if you put desire and ambition together. And then hunger. It's good to want something too. You don't want to want it so much that you push it away, but showing that you care about something, wanting something isn't the worst thing. And if you want it, then just ask for it. You have to know what you want before you can do this, but the magic here is if you ask for something, you might actually get it this month. Don't wait or expect for another person to understand or figure something out. I feel like that's cruel sometimes. If they can't do that, if they lack the intuition, that's part of their characteristic, then don't torture them. Let them know what they need to do and let them improve. And don't try to force them to be more intuitive if they're not. That's part of who they are. Showing gratitude, enthusiasm, and a sincere interest is good. Again, I don't feel like you have to hold back. You can say thank you, or I appreciate you, or let's hang out again. Show up early, be prepared, pitch in, and don't hold back. This is your chance to make a splash, so you don't want to pull inward. You know, we didn't get any pentacles this month, but maybe I'll look at that in the expanded forecast as well. I see the world, and to me, the world can be a very positive card when it comes to money or when it comes to career. So it feels like there's a change on the horizon, and I think it's a change for the better. No more tears, no more unhappiness, or as Mary J. Blige would say, no more drama, right? All right, write your ideal job description and send it to the universe. Then actually maybe start to make this happen. Whether you decide to be your own boss or you start to look for jobs that support you, this is your time to make that change happen. Again, competitions, I don't think are necessary. There's a way that both of you can succeed. Or if you don't want to compete, or if the competition isn't clean or fair, then this is a chance to move on as well. People are interested in you. Yes, definitely. They're interested in your ideas and also you. Don't force things, and don't force people to retread old ground. It's time to innovate. And if somewhere that you're like, if it's a relationship that you're in or a place that you're working and it's like the same old, that's what has to change this month. And if you made a mistake, don't keep beating yourself up. It's about what you do next. Maybe there's two decisions. Maybe there's a decision and you're having a hard time honoring what you know you need to do. The sooner you can be at ease with that, the better. So we have a double judgment card here. And maybe the two of you can't agree. And if that's the case, this is maybe why things are falling apart here. Speak your mind, let it go, move on. There might be a moving on, especially if the two of you are just kind of like, butting heads. It's not worth it. We have the Two of Wands at the center, beautiful manifestation card. And then we have the Six of Cups on top of it. And with the Six of Cups, what we're seeing here is a chance for you to, for some of you, it could be a reunion with someone that you love. It can also be just a question of, are you sustained by what's going on? If you do find love this month, I really like that we have Lover, Six of Cups, Two of Wands in the world. It might be a little bit intense, but it looks really positive. The most important thing for you is to heal the past, to love yourself, to be open to the new things that want to come in, see yourself as a worthy participant and recipient, to take power and accountability in your hands. A change is happening. You can control it. I talk about the Tower reversed as a chance for you to speak up. That's why the Queen of Swords is here. So if something is happening like reorganization, divorce, something happening where you feel like you need to have a say in it, have a say in it for sure. There's no more dragging your feet this month. Some of you just need a day off. That's fine. But it does feel like these decisions, it shouldn't take forever to kind of land on that. And then focusing on healing the throat chakra as well, since we have Queen of Swords reverse, and then finally knowing that whatever happens is for the best. You're going to rise above. You're going to come back from this. Pay attention to what's coming through intuitively for your health. You're on the right track. Make some changes for the better. You can break cycles with this and make a better shift in your life. It's just focusing on that decision of I can and I will and I am. And then the other thing with health, stress management is important because we don't want this manifesting itself as hypertension, as a heart, something with the heart or the blood system. It's not worth it. And let me see if there's anything else. Also just not getting distracted, as I said earlier. With health, with wealth, we have a health-related card with workaholic. Time to let go of this. Time to realize that you're doing a good enough job, that there's always going to be a chance to revise. And I feel like there's a necessary revision anyway for those of you that are perfectionists. Tower reverse and Queen of Swords reverse. If you're a writer or composer, this is about going back and reworking it. So it feels like there's already a necessary revision. So don't worry about every draft having to be perfect. It's not going to be. If you're working too hard, if your boss is unrealistic, if you don't like where you're at, Three of Swords, the World, the Tower, the Judgment card, that's moving on for sure. And if you've been waiting for work, I see a shift happening and work coming in. So you're either leaving or you're going, but there's a change. For love, speak up, open up, be honest but kind, I think is what I would kind of temper that with saying. And if you can't agree, it's okay. Maybe agree to disagree or agree to move on. Overall, though, I see some great energy around those seeking new relationships. If you're in an existing one, this is a growth spurt here too, but there could be something going on around you. So this could be a loss in the family or a material loss that tests the relationship. So lean into the positive energy that we see here and realize that's just stuff. It's just a moment in time, and there's something stronger there if you want to build upon it. If you're single and happy, then I just see like a change of location, change of job, some personal changes going on, but people are still really supportive and there if you need them. Finally, we have action in your destiny card, which is saying your destiny is controlled by your action. And as I like to remind you, you choose your destiny on many levels. Like we set milestones, but what we decide to do with those milestones, that's where the power sets in. Let's go into the soul path. We're going to take a look at the Three of Swords first. Let me take a drink, and then we're going to look at what could be what you need to release, what could possibly be holding you back from the past, where the healing can begin. Okay, we have Five of Cups, which can be either a glass half full or half closed card. And what we're seeing with this, it often gets overlooked, but they did a good job kind of showing it here, is mourning, M-O-U-R-N-I-N-G. But like I like to remind people, you can take the U out and it just is a new day. It's morning. So I feel like it's important for you to to have a moment to mourn what is lost, to figure out how and why it happened and it triggered you, and to take those extra couple of cups. Usually it's like 3 down and 2 up on that card, but there's always something that you can do. You're resourceful. You can make it work. Focus on the beautiful light at the top rather than the darker or heavier energy here. It's a perspective message here. So flip your perspective and look at the lighter side of things. Look at the opportunity. If you need help, ask for help. There is no expiration date on mourning the loss of someone or something, but I can guarantee you, this is actually a really nice contrast between the two. I can guarantee you that it's stronger to go towards this than to focus on this. So we have the 2 different energies here. This one, the 5 of Cups, is focusing on the shadow energy. This one, the Judgment card, the dove, is kind of rising up from the shadow energy. So this was already in your outcome. So it feels like you just have to look at the final card, the outcome card here, to be able to understand it's just a shift of perspective. It will get better. You can get past this. But sometimes we need help. Sometimes there's chemical problems. Sometimes there's other things going on in your life that are kind of keeping you from being able to get to that higher space. But if you shift the perspective, everything shifts. I want to look at the Tower. I want to see the change. I want to see what you can focus on adjusting in your life. Yeah, change a job. We have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Wheel of Fortune is super auspicious, and thank you, universe, for giving us something that was specifically either pentacles or money. So if you needed confirmation, should I change? This is a yes. I mean, the Wheel of Fortune in reverse is a change of fortune. It can be a change of job or a change of fortune. So if you've had some bad luck, first of all, I believe that you can always change and create luck. It's synchronicities. So this is literally saying now is a time to change your luck, to change your fortune, and to focus on something different. It could be also a complete 180 where you're deciding to go in a different direction from what you're doing now. Like, this doesn't feel good. I want to go back to school, or I want to quit this job, or I want to start my own business, or I just can't do this anymore. Even the relationship, there's a shift, and you're going to reinvest the energy in something else. And it's a dream catcher. This goes back to what we were talking about putting on the index card, life purpose. What's your dream? Let the dream be sticky. Let it be like the web. I like spiders, not in real life, but in as a totem. I don't mind them. They're beneficial insects. I don't want a tarantula or anything, but what's cool with spiders is they have that sort of sticky energy. And so I like that we see a web here, and I think you could create a positive web where you're attracting things, and that's a nice visualization, and we might work with it. We'll do it as a dream catcher or something instead, but just imagine that you're able to capture what you want in your life. But yeah, it's time to change things up at work. And also, for some of you, this could be the sell of a house or changing your environment, because the Tower was in the environment. Okay. Let's take a look now at Judgment. So this is I'm going to ask this question. I'm going to say, how can everyone watching either make peace with their decision or make the decision that seems like it's there? Or with Judgment, you've already made it. So it's make peace with it or understand why it's come about the way it has. Acceptance, really. How can you accept the decision? Okay, so we have the 9 of Wands, which is interesting. Everything you've done has led you to this moment. This is I like that we see it as like these stepping stones, right? And then we see this beautiful moon at the top here. So it's a crescent moon too. But what I'm seeing for many of us is, first of all, the beginning and the end of the month are going to feel radically different. It's almost like you're in two different people in 2 different places. Some of you may have already decided to make a shift, and it's going to change everything in your life. So don't doubt yourself at the last moment of the race is what I am also receiving with this. So 9 of Wands, typically you would see someone with a bandage on their head. They're standing behind or in front of all these wands that represent the trials and tribulations. And it's a reminder, you've done this much, you are strong, you've maybe been worse for the wear on some of this because of what you've been through, but you're going to be okay. 10 of Wands is around the corner. Moving on is part of this too. So it's just the next step. That's the message here. It's the next step, and everything you've done has led you to this point. Don't doubt yourself now. Don't delay. It's time. Okay? It is time, and it is good. And you're leading towards a really nice resolution here. It's going into the light, not into the dark. Okay? I like this deck because there's a nice interplay between light and dark, and it helps with situations like this. So for this, twice we've gotten confirmation that it's leading you towards a better tomorrow. Look up. I posted a picture of my dog on Instagram where he wanted some food and he was looking up at me, but this is part of that too, which is always look up, always look at what's possible. All right, we're gonna do a brief meditation, but before we do that, just a couple notes. I'm gonna do a final card, final word at the end. So think about something that I haven't looked at for you. It could be a specific relationship question. It could be a work situation in your life. It could be something about yourself that you don't want to talk about. Don't worry, because I don't need you to kind of like type anything. Just think it through as we're meditating, and then I'm going to pull a card afterwards and I'll interpret it. I want to take a moment to just encourage you. Also, I was mentioning social media. If you don't follow me elsewhere, consider it. I actually post all these little sticky notes, well, not sticky notes, but 3x5s on my social media network. So on Instagram, you can see it later today or tomorrow by the latest, but I'll post a picture and then I recap all the messages there. Same thing on Facebook. And then on the community tab here on YouTube. So these are great places to go back if you didn't have a chance to jot stuff down. I do the channeled messages there. And I also put reminders as stories on all of these networks. I'm kind of new to TikTok, but I'm starting some new stuff there, so you can join me there. And on Goodreads if you want to know more about my book. My username is @NicholasAshbaugh on all of these. I have some impersonators that pop up on some of these networks, and they put like, they'll put an underscore between the names or stuff like that, but don't be fooled. If you want to, actually, I'm going to put a link real quick to my website where you can follow me on social media. Actually, thank you, Maria, just did that. And then there's the Instagram one, and here's the social media one as well, so you can get all of those. Twitter is @Ashbaugh, and that's the only one that's different. Just a quick note, I don't use direct messages. If anyone ever messages you and offers a reading or a product or a service, that's not real. So I like to kind of add this in there so people don't get fooled. Thank you to everyone that's done a super chat or later that does an applaud or applause. I appreciate it, and I see that, and I try to heart every applause. So thank you for that. It helps me continue to buy new cards like you see here. There's a join button here also that you can use to stay in touch with me, or Patreon. Both of them have membership privileges. All right, let's get into the meditation. And I like this idea of like a new dawn, a new day. So I want to do this at sunrise. The meditation will last 2 or 3 minutes, and then we'll get into that final message, final card of the day. So for this quick meditation, before we get into the final word, imagine that you are at the top of a hill. So I want to kind of get us to the next level of the, it's almost like, or the top of the steps. Maybe you've walked all the way up here and there's this beautiful view. And I want you to imagine that you are now able to either, you can do one of two things. You can rise up and spread your wings. Or if you want to kind of play this role of creator, we can also pull in a little bit of something. We'll do both of it. I'll find a way to weave these together. Close your eyes. See yourself at the top of the hill. Imagine that you've climbed all these steps to get to the top. In the distance, the sun is rising. As it rises, you look to your right and to your left, and you see some beautiful spider webs. And for any of you that have grown up in a sort of humid climate, I remember when I spent some time on the East Coast, you would see dew on the webs in the morning. So you see these beautiful glistening drops, almost like little diamonds or little gems that are covering up these spider webs. And as you look into each one, you realize this isn't a regular spider web. This is sort of like a space, a sacred space that your soul has set up. And this is something that you've created. And in these little tiny droplets, you can see opportunities. You can see moments of your future, moments of your past, moments of your life that you've captured here in time. Think of things that you would like to add to this tapestry. Allow it to be beautiful, like we see here. There could be different colors. There could be different things. And as you wish it, as you breathe, you see one of the droplets light up, and you can see some sort of an opportunity there. So create this beautiful web of opportunity around you and set the intention that you are attracting it. You are attractive towards this energy. And then once you've put your intention out there in the universe, I want this, I'm ready for this, I am doing this, let it go. And take a moment to look at what you've created, and then I want you to get some perspective. We're going to rise above. So you're going to spread your wings, and if you want to imagine that you're a dove, you can do that. You can be an owl, you can be any sort of totem that you would like to, but see yourself rising up and looking not only at this beautiful soul web that you have behind you, but I want you to see now the path, the tapestry around you. Imagine that there are tons of little beads of light that are starting to show up in this morning sunrise. And you can see, almost like points on a map or a constellation in the sky, how to get to your goal. It's all over. The signs have already been there. And it's just showing up as the sun is rising. So spread your wings. And for a little bit here, just imagine that you could drift in the sky, like you're just sort of coasting around and looking at stuff. And you are free. And you're moving toward that goal that you have. And then I'll rejoin you in about a minute or two, and we're going to look at your final question that you're holding in your mind, and I'll answer it. In your mind in this moment, I just want you to take a deep breath and think to yourself, it's going to get easier, or it's easier than I think to get to this destination. Take a deep breath and exhale. Letting go of the fear, the doubt, the uncertainty, all the blocks that we often have in our head that hold us back. Spread your wings out wide. Let them feel the warmth and the radiance of the sun. And allow yourself now to rejoin with your body, seeing this beautiful avian form gently drift into the crown chakra and then superimpose itself over the body and then lock in. You take your hands, rub them together, put your left hand on your heart, your right hand on top of your heart, and make a promise to yourself that you're going to go after one of those dreams or those goals that you saw, and one of those beautiful sort of the web that you've created around you, that soul tapestry. It's always there. You just don't always see it. You don't always see the connecting threads between point A and point B, but it's there and it's available to you. With your eyes still closed, I want you to think of something that you need me to look at for you. Don't type it, just think it. What is it that you maybe were hoping to get some insight into when you joined today, if I haven't already covered it? What else would you like me to look at? Hold it in your thoughts, hold it in your heart, broadcast it, and let's see what Spirit wants to say. Interesting. Okay, you can open your eyes now if you haven't already. We have the 10 of Wands, but this 10 of Wands, it's sort of hard to see the forest for the trees. And what we see there is that new dawn or that new day in the background. So first of all, I like to look at this as if it were a yes-no. So with the upright 10 of Wands, it would be a yes. But there would be a piece that I would say with this, which is you have a little bit more to go before like the yes comes in. This, like an ace is a yes with an exclamation point. A 10 of any of the 10s can just show that you're getting closer to that. Well, especially 10 of Wands, 10 of Cups and 10 of Pentacles, you're there. 10 of Wands, it feels like you've got to let something go first. A lot of times with 10 of Wands, you would see the burden of the energy that you're holding. So one thing that I want to kind of talk about with you is how much do you need to do? How much are you carrying? How much are you holding on to? Is some of what you're holding on to the pain from the past? Is some of it just a fear of making a movement? Is some of it just the decision energy? It feels to me like you don't let go. That's what I see with this, like let it go, relax, and move on. And I see also, this is a travel card, but it's not necessarily it doesn't have to be a relocation one, but it shows me movement and it shows me reaching out beyond the borders. So I see outreach. I get a yes with this. I get a yes, ... but there's something you've got to let go of. You don't need to do all of this. You don't need to be so burdened. In a relationship, I think this can also be with both parties carrying the load equally. It's a good card. I like 10 of Wands. And it's also what we were working towards here, right? This is getting to the top, and this is saying you've done it. So I like it, even though I love this artist. I have this deck is also in the same, it's the Wild Unknown archetypes. And this is just the Wild Unknown. I would have probably put a lot more light in this card, but I'm going to honor what she put in here and say that for some of you, you can't see the forest for the trees. So that's why I got you up in the meditation. And that's why the Judgment card reminded you to go above. And it's going back into the Soul card here. Like you can look at it from either angle. Why not look at it from the higher angle? Why not look up like Apollo reminded us the other day? So take a look on my Instagram. It's a super cute picture of him. But it's important. And it's something that I do when I walk the dog in the morning. I like to look up at the moon, or in the evening, I like to look up at the stars. And it just reminds me of like where I'm at. Sometimes looking up at the trees that are blossoming here in the springtime, look up. There's always a different way to perceive something. Okay. So that's all that I have gotten for that card, but it's a positive card. So I see positive movement overall. And the fact that we have two wheels, essentially, I like the Wheel of Fortune is literally a wheel, even though it's a dream catcher here. And the World is a wheel in this deck too. So things are moving. And two Judgment cards, and you're going to bounce back. That's the other thing that I see. So consider that this is like a Renaissance month for you, that May will be. Okay. If you want to find out some more information about anything that I didn't talk about already, by the way, you can go to my website. I pinned the link all the way at the beginning. I talked a little bit about my book. If you are interested in the book, you can go to my website as well. Maria put a link out earlier already. And actually right now this is for US residents only. It's available everywhere though, I should say, worldwide. But in the US Amazon store, this is as cheap as the paperback. I don't know what they're doing with their sales. They just kind of adjust prices, but it was actually cheaper than it yesterday. Now it's the same price almost. So if you're in the United States and you want to get the hardcover, it's cheap now. Get it. If you're international, I have a ton of retailers that I work with. So feel free to take a look on my website. You can get it just about anywhere. And it's also available as an ebook. One last thing, I want to say thanks. You guys have been really great about spreading the word. So one of the easiest ways that you can show support, and it makes the biggest impact for me, is to hit the thumbs up, the like button, to subscribe if you haven't. I still have 50% of the people that watch me, they're not subscribed, which is crazy. So subscribe, it doesn't cost anything. You're not going to get spammed or anything. If you want to get notifications, you can click the bell, but it doesn't automatically do that. But if you want to get a little notification on your phone or email, you can click the bell. And this helps people discover it. And when you watch this live, if you just want to put some emojis and say thank you, you can do that. It really, really helps other people discover this channel. I put a lot of work in these readings, and it means a lot when you guys share it. There's also share buttons there, so feel free to share it on Twitter, Instagram, etc. All of that stuff helps, and I appreciate it. And let me see if there's anything I forgot before we close. I already said I have a couple of collectives this month. I'll just read the dates aloud again. The main collective is going to be on Sunday, April 25th. I'm going to do some sort of a bonus reading on the 15th, though. And this whole sort of schedule you can see here on my website. And the next sign that I'll be reading, by the way, is Taurus. And so I'll be back again on Sunday to read Taurus. And that's pretty much it for today. Thank you so much. It's really been a pleasure to see everyone. Hope you're having a great month. Happy birthday to those of you that are celebrating it, or happy belated if you just had it. And lots of love and light. Okay, take care, everyone. I'll be back again on Sunday. And hey, Apollo, you want to say hi, everybody? Here. Yeah. Apollo wants to say hi. he came back from his nap. So thank you, everyone. You have a great day, and we'll talk real soon. Okay, bye. And thanks again to Maria for helping moderate today.